pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first order of business here is to approve the appointment of Edwina Guffey to take the place of Terry Hansen, Health Department. Went before the council. My understanding, they decided not to split the position at this time for some reason. So in order to get the ball rolling and get this lady paid, we would need to approve the position as presented to us from the council. I would make that motion to approve Edwina Guffey.
I would second it.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, what is the plan down the road? Is there going to be another position added? Will there need to be another position added?
Yes, short answer is yes,
Okay,
because of the expansion programs.
okay,
That's the primary.
all
But
right,
also the state wants us to up our game as far as environmental and food inspection.
okay,
So as we go down the road and we get started into this state plan, then we can come back and see who needs to do what. Would that be correct?
Correct. Like Laura and I talked about the county council meeting. I have a state budget template different than her template. I have to fill out by the end of August. Say exactly where these funds will go. So that'll be more to talk about at that time.
Any other discussion?
yeah, just slightly here. Who would be the department head now, as far as the office department?
You're looking at it,
right.
at him, yeah.
Okay,
Edwin is new. I don't think it's fair to ask her to learn two positions and become the office
all right,
right out of the box.
all right. Okay. Sounds good. All righty.
Aren't we paying her to do that?
That was the discussion with county council.
If she's a one-for-one replacement for Terry at the same rate, then
Shouldn't that be an expectation that she also doing the same job? I understand there's training wheels involved, but at the end of the day, isn't that would be fair to everyone else on county payroll, that if somebody's paid a department head wage, they should take on the role of department head?
Well, I think that was the point by saying that we're filling one position with this new person. So I think the title stays the same, and whatever assistance Dr. Allman can give, well, then that's going to be appreciated. But I think the title stays the same as covering all three positions until we get down to the state funding coming in and going from there. So, yeah, title stays the same as Terry's title. Training and assistance can come from within the office, work through it as best possible. Anything else? Okay, been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nathan?
Good morning. First up, some requested action on the ongoing reorganization and restructuring of the C.D.C. I have for your consideration Pulaski County Ordinance 2023-06 and Resolution 2023-8, establishing the Pulaski County Redevelopment Commission and Tourism Advisory Council, respectively. As I've previously noted, a redevelopment commission is required for potential use of tax increment financing to support projects such as proposed housing development, as well as other redevelopment and rejuvenation efforts. Under the terms of this ordinance pursuant to Indiana Code, the board is responsible for appointing 4 members, while the other 3 would be appointed by the council. The board would also appoint a non-voting member recommended by one of the school boards serving our residents. All voting member terms are 1 year long, except that the initial terms would begin in October of this year and last for 15 months. The advisory term is 2 years long, 27 months for this tenure. As I implied there, this ordinance would go into effect in October, giving us a couple of months from today to start seeking qualified candidates who would be interested in serving, and then giving us a 3-month window at the end of the year to kind of onboard these members, especially whoever they would elect as their president, before the eventual restructuring of the C.D.C. would come into effect, and the president of the Redevelopment Commission, by virtue of that seat, would have a role on the C.D.C. So that is the first thing I have before you, ordinance 2023-06. Kevin, I don't know if you had any questions or concerns with it, or if you were good with it as I had drafted it.
Yeah, I thought we spoke about it. I went through it.
Okay.
So are you the one seeking qualified?
Yeah, I mean, I will work with the commissioners and the council to try to put together a pool of qualified people that then you'll be able to appoint as you think represent the best diversity of geographic perspectives in the county, industry perspectives, showing an understanding of the community's growth needs, that sort of
We'd need a motion to approve ordinance 23-6.
Yeah, I would make that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Then I have 2 versions of the Tourism Advisory Council resolution. They are in all ways identical, except that one creates a 9-member council with 1 seat each reserved for the Main Street Winnemac and Uptown project, with place for responding to the creation of another Main Street organization in the county. While the alternate draft creates a 7-seat council with the 2 Main Street groups having non-voting advisory seats, with provisions for assigning additional non-voting advisory seats to any future organization. In both options, half plus one of the members must meet industry representation criteria, which is either they are a restaurant, represent a restaurant, a hotel, Airbnb, campground, state park, fish and wildlife area, a tourism business like one of the liveries, or Shady Hill, Fort Knox paintball. But half of the board has, based on Indiana code, has to represent the tourism industry directly, and the minority can be anybody. On the 7-person TAC, the president of the Winnemac Town Council is statutorily required to appoint 1 member. On the 9-person council, a 2nd Winnemac seat is added. The board and the council are responsible for the other 9, for the other non-Main Street seats. Members serve 2-year staggered terms. The initial appointees serving 15 or 27 months beginning in October, and the president again would begin serving on the restructured C.D.C. in January. And as I have previously noted, until the council has decided that it is worthwhile to levy an innkeeper's tax in the county, we cannot set up an official tourism commission under state law. So this basically applies, or resolution applies everything applicable under state law to a tourism commission that doesn't require the innkeeper's tax, so that if we were to get to a point where the council made that decision, it could be a very smooth transition from county resolution-based organization to statutorily.
We went with the lower number. Can you always add down the road
Yeah.
to improve it? I guess I would. You're probably got trouble finding people. To put
No,
in
I am technically, because the 2 are Main Street organizations, it would be on them to appoint from within our end. We'll have 7 that you, the town, and the council are responsible for. I really don't care either way. I like the idea of giving the Main Street organizations a voice, but I don't think it's necessary to give them the vote.
If they're appointing their own, yes, I would make a motion, go with the higher number there. Then we make this motion to approve the 2023-08, the 9-member board.
All right, I second that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. And then still on the restructuring organization, I would like approval, begin working to reestablish our dormant advisory commission on industrial development. This commission exists to serve as a review and recommendation body for any matter pertaining to the sale or lease of industrial park land, acquisition of land for industrial development, and infrastructure improvements in the industrial park. It was inconsistently active through 2017 or so, but we've allowed it to lapse for the purposes of building out this restructured C.D.C. and ensuring that we're ready to respond if we do have some interest in the industrial, what remains in the industrial park land. I would like to get this back on track. There are 5 statutorily defined seats on the commission and 1 with greater flexibility. And I've done a little digging into past meeting minutes, both Board of Commissioners and the Industrial Park Commission when it was intact, annual appointment forms, and so on. And what I have concluded is that the local utility representative seat is up for renewal at the end of this year. So for a term ending in 2027 then. Likewise with that flexible seat, a local building trades representative seat would end at the end of next year. County government representative at the end of 25, local banking representative at the 26, and then industrial development representative also at the end of 26. It's not entirely clear to me why the county established this commission when it did, as opposed to handling industrial park land otherwise. But the way the state law is set up and the way the county's ownership of land in the industrial park is structured, we need this. The last time it was active was either, I want to say it was probably when the town of Winnemac bought the 3 acres for the cemetery expansion. I don't get a lot of interest in the industrial park, but I do have one person who is currently waiting to see if we're going to get back on track with being able to sell it. Couldn't, under the most strictest reading of the law, sell any more of that land without getting this body back in place. So if we could, I would like to just get your thumbs up, start putting that body back together.
An official vote, right? Just, yes, I think you can pursue with that.
I will bring all the individuals to you for appointment. Once we get that lined up, I'll work with you if you have any recommendations. Like I said, 5 of the 6, they are, they're pretty strictly defined. I assume county, in the past, county government representative, I think our transfer station manager was there for a while, be a commissioner, could be a council member, but I will work with you on filling seats. And then I have 2 more documents that I will be eventually presenting to you. That'll be a resolution that officially greenlights the reorganization and restructuring of the C.D.C. And tells us to start making amendments to the bylaws to fit that new structure. And then one that would shift review and recommendation responsibilities of the revolving loan fund from the C.D.C. to the Economic Development Commission. Both of those are going to require the council to take final action on the Economic Development Commission ordinance that they take.
Have those 2 things been addressed by the council yet?
They discussed it and tabled it last week, and we'll be revisiting it at their August. So then courthouse project updates for you if you don't have any further questions on the reorganization and restructuring at this time. Kevin and I had a call with Barnes and Thornburg and Baker Tilly last week, and we actually have a follow-up call on Wednesday. Bond counselor at Barnes and Thornburg is preparing various documents that we need to have published, adopted, otherwise implemented, and we'll be working with her, you and the council and Laura in the very near future to set up meeting appearance or appearances and a building corporation bond board meeting. Kevin and Colleen did successfully get all of the oaths of office taken care of for the building corporation bond members and filed the articles of incorporation. As of now, it looks like we'll be starting the bid process in mid-September with the expectation of a 4 to 6 week timeline until they're due. Probably best to expect a 6-week timeline. So if anything gets slowed up on our bond council side, we've got a little bit of flexibility and we can just make it 4 weeks without affecting the construction schedule. I hoped it would be earlier, but I just found out from our bond counsel something that she had not apparently realized, but we cannot let those bids until she has accomplished certain things. So we're waiting for her to get caught. That actually kind of works out well, I think, on the construction side of things, because it gives Ton and Blank plenty of time to reassign our Justice Center superintendent back to our project. I'm not sure that I want to work with Ton and Blank if I have to get a new superintendent, because we just had such a good working relationship. Obviously, we'll do what we have to do, but he knows the community. He's worked with us well. I'm hoping that will give them the time to get somebody to pick up for him where he is currently. Architect will be finished with the drawings before this deadline. He actually has finished what I think is probably the last question that's been outstanding, other than the finest of details, and I'll be getting the committee's input on that last question this week, so that when he's back from vacation on Monday, we should be able to wrap up these last few items and put everything in the hands of the attorney and then contractors once they have what they need. Did a walkthrough with the courthouse with the moving company's estimator last week. Spoke with all the affected department heads. We've scheduled the very first small move at the end of July to get what's left of the surveyor's office's stuff out of their vault, as well as moving the scanner that is currently in the auditor's office over there, so that we keep a smooth workflow on all of the document scanning that we've had somebody working on in Laura's office. The assessors, recorders, auditors, and treasurer's office are expected to move over a 2-day period together in early September. And the clerk's office will likely require a day of its own. We intend to have the building fully vacated by the end of September, and that'll allow us some time for cleanup, last-minute items, so that when the bids have all been approved, Ton and Blank can jump right in without any obstructions. Questions?
I think still the largest headache is going to be document storage.
I am actually in jeans today because this afternoon, Larry and I are going to go with our pickup trucks and obtain a bunch of free lateral filing cabinets that have been offered to us. And we're going to be putting them in the EMA office for now, so that even if we don't necessarily need them long-term, we have a place to start emptying some of the buildings. And I'm going to work on getting my assistant, I hope, into their part-time to start scanning for other departments to help pick that pace up until we've got everything lined up. But we do have some free storage cabinetry coming along to help us get some of that out of the building in a location. I've talked with Ms. Fox, and she's okay with doing that. She's got some space where we can put them up. And so we'll have them in an accessible site for continued digitization as we are going through this.
What about the West Annex?
That's where I'm taking them, to the EMA.
Okay, I thought you said EMS. Okay, yeah. That includes the court documents and stuff too, or they have to be more secured?
We're still working on all of the details, but we've got some cabinetry coming along. I don't know about the court documents because both they need to be secured, and because a lot of those that were in the courthouse have been exposed to mold and animal issues. And so I don't know what sort of timeline any of those have for having to be scanned versus just put into somewhere in storage that is secured, where we can see if we need to remediate anything, or if we can, so that we don't create health issues as we work on.
I think the other issue listed under Nathan, it's Barnes, Thornburg tax abatement defense. Kevin, do you want to address that?
Yeah, we have another pending lawsuit from County Ehrlich and the other group of plaintiffs challenging this time the tax abatement granted by the council for Bottle Brush Project, which is the BP project, and VP Light Source. So anyway, they challenged the last two. We won both of those, trial level. I'm asking, we have Mark Cranley, who's been assisting me with all of this litigation, hired to help me with this.
Okay, we need a motion to approve hiring of legal bond counsel.
So moved.
I would second that. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And now we're down to approving of the claims and payroll 13 and 14.
Okay, I have reviewed all the claims, and I reviewed payroll 13 and 14, and I make a motion to approve as presented.
Second that. Other discussion? Favor say aye.
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 And I have reviewed the minutes. Oh, I got ahead of you there. I've reviewed the minutes from July 3rd meeting, and I would make a motion to approve as presented.
And I would second that. Other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then we have a reappointment, Dr. Clint Kaufman to the Pulaski County Board of Trustees. I think they had to make a change in bylaws according to the letter from Valerie Lehman that person can add another 4-year term. Felt that the consistency is needed at this time in the station plan. So we need a motion to approve this appointment, Dr. Kaufman.
Yes, I would make the motion to reapprove Dr. Clint Kaufman.
And I would second that. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then we have the CSI support agreement, Recorder's Office, computer system software. Need a motion to approve the contract for CSI computer systems.
Yes, I would make that motion.
Second it. Other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then we get down to conference requests. Plan is requested the Indiana Voters Registration Association Conference in August 9th, as well as the AIC Annual Conference, September 25th through the 28th. Would need to approve two requests from Joanne.
Yes, I would make that motion for both of those.
Second that. Joanne, anything to add? Nope. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then we have the assessor's office. Assessor deputies and the state association's assessors conference, August 21st through 5th. And then a second one, Association of Counties Conference, September 25th through 28th. Make a motion to approve those conferences.
Okay, I would second that motion.
Further discussion? Favor say aye.
Aye.
Under discussion, we have the health insurance renewal. And back a couple weeks here, but just a quick review of those. E-medical through Anthem, no rate increase. There's a hold there. Dental, 3.5%. Vision rate held. Basic life, That went up 7.9%. And voluntary stayed the same, as well as short-term disability. And looking at the numbers on that, and these are actually based on estimated enrollment. Could change. Overall estimated premium, the $1,199,720, in which the county pays $9,382. Employee share was $209,000. And that is based on estimated enrollment. So we would approve the renewal rates. Anthem.
Yeah, I would make that motion.
I would second it. Other discussion? Insurance renewal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And Brandon has a update on equipment issues.
Good morning. Fortunately, I'm coming to you with some bad news. I've had 50% of my fleet go down over the weekend. Our first truck, 0217, our oldest in the fleet, 2012. I am 95% sure it is a transmission control module problem, which I am told by the dealer they just don't make anymore. Chip shortage. I'm in the process of getting that towed there today. That will probably be a long-term downtime. I'm going to start calling GM to see if I can be convincing and having them find a way somehow to produce one. That's why I wanted to give this update at a public hearing and get this out there and make it very well known. The second truck is having clutch fan issues. They just replaced the clutch fan and I got it back, put it in service, and it didn't make it a day before the clutch fan failed again and it overheated. That one I'm unsure until I get it towed back to the dealer how long that one's going to be down. The coolant and the overflow looked rather dark, which tells me it may have oil in it, so it may have blown the head gaskets. So that's where I'm at. There's no decisions that really need to be made today. I just wanted to give you an update. I would like to have you start thinking about contingency plans on what we'll do. Right now, if I have another truck go down for simple maintenance, I have a crew that's going to be standing around with nothing. So I don't know if we want to, once I get more information on how long these trucks will be down, if they're both going to be down long term, I don't know if you want me to start looking for something used. If we have an old vehicle in another fleet that we could make into a chase vehicle temporarily. Those are some ideas I want you to run through your head, and then as soon as I get these over to the dealer and find out what's going on for sure, I'll come back next meeting with a little more detail.
Okay, so the one with the transmission problem, is that the one that we'll be trading in January?
That is.
How much money are we putting into this vehicle that we're going to trade in 6 months?
Well, ideally, this transmission module is a very simple fix.
Okay.
Probably just a few $100s if they made the parts.
I see.
My son-in-law is a diesel mechanic up north. There's still some available in places like eBay that are remanufactured that he has had decent luck with. You know, normally parts like that, you want to stick with the original equipment, go through the dealer. Push comes to shove, this could be an option. Have them get the number off that module, and I will have some prices for next time if we want to try that route. That might be something that would get us by for a while.
Only has to last 6 months, right?
That's right. And I'll have an update, hopefully for the next meeting, on where we're at with this truck. Timeline's still good, or it might be running late. So,
Okay. Any other questions? No.
all right, I'll plan on
Keep us
being on the
posted.
agenda for next time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the discussion item that came up this week is the paying of the $44,000 for the backup system. And be working with Teresa on that. I think there's a fund that we want to maybe pay down that has 9,000 to the sheriff's department. Cover the rest maybe through the ARPA funds, but that decision will be made prior to our renewal, our CD that we have our ARP money in. So that will be a future item. Yeah, now. We've been paying. Let's do that and then we will reimburse. So we've been paying ARP funds out of another fund. All of our money was in a CD. And once we take the monies out of the CD, then we will be paying paying back the funds that it was taken from at this time. The bill has to be paid, so that'd be the quickest and simplest way to do it at this. Anything else from board, Kevin? Community comments? Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is adjourned.